Hey, welcome back to Spirit Music Meetups. Mike Burris here. You know, I've been playing since 1968. It's a long time. And I see a lot of things in my students. I've had 5,000 plus students in person, and there's more online. But I wanted to go over like some of the basics on your setup, because when you sit down on the drum kit, or like I'm sitting here, first thing you should do is adjust your seat, because everything's going to depend on that. And what you want to do is have a slight slant, so not flat, you know. It should slightly roll down when your heels are up and you're playing with the ball of your foot. So I'm sitting, it looks like it's more of an angle than it really is, but I'm sitting just right. Because this is flat. I know it doesn't look like it. I'd have to turn flat like this. Here we go. See, this is up on the balls, not on my tippy toes. That's my tippy toes. Okay? Now on the balls of my foot, I have it slightly slanted. This would be flat. You can see how flat that is, how horizontal that is. That's flat. That's too low. Right? So that's too high, I should say. My seat would be too high. So now I want it to be slightly slanted. Not this slanted. That's with my heel down. If my heel's up and I'm that slanted, I'm going to have other problems in my hip and my knees. I want to be able to do this. And I don't want to have hip problems. So you want it to be 2 inches. It's about 2 inches below. That's 2 inches. You actually took a tape measure. That's 2 inches below the horizontal to the kneecap. 2 inches. It's about 2 joints on my finger. 2 joints. Okay, 2 inches. So once you get your seat at the right height and you're sitting so that your legs are at a V to your snare drum, looking straight out at the audience on your drum kit. Then you want to make sure you have your snare high enough. And you put your stick right in your belly button. And when the stick is level, it's exactly level, it should be, again, about 2 inches. That's what it is for me. 2 inches. And your drum should be flat or slightly slanted to the back, so it's the way the physics work. Like Buddy Rich had his drums slightly slanted upwards on the back. You see people always slanting their drums like that. That actually doesn't work as well for the bouncing of the stick. So this is 2 inches. So this is what, you know, you could go 3 inches, 2.5 inches. So I could actually go down just a little bit, half an inch. So now I'm a little bit more, just a half an inch. This is what Freddy Gruber retrained Neil Peart on. You know, it's really taking advantage of the rebound of the sticks and having ghost notes and loud strokes and everything. So if my arms are level, and always in the letter A, and we'll talk about that. My arms are relaxed, so you shouldn't see any air between your arms. You shouldn't be out here like a chicken ready to fly off, okay? You shouldn't be in here like this either. The arms are supposed to be straight, so you got your knuckles here, and the drumstick is straight, exactly straight with your forearms. Okay, so I got that on both sides exactly. So you don't want to be pronated this way. Here's the straight up my forearm. You don't want to be out this way. You don't want to be out this way. That's really extreme. You want to be at a 45-degree angle so that it's straight. Okay, so you really want to work on that. There's reason being because the wrist moves freely up and down not using fingers. I'm just using my wrists. My arms aren't moving. See, my stick is staying pretty darn still. Now you can do this on both arms. It's a little more wobbly on my left because I need to practice that. So I'm watching to make sure this doesn't move around a lot too much. Now you can put a board or a yardstick across your arms like that, and if you lose it. Hey, we got folks in the video. All right. Hey, welcome.
Hi.
So we got it's one of my favorite parts here. So if you lose the stick, then you know you're using your arms. So you don't want to use your arms. Okay, so we get some wobble here. So let's see what it is. So I'm gonna have to do a little adjustment here. So this thing. My arms aren't moving very much at all. Now, what this allows you to do is come from the level, you're playing level. See, now my wrist is exactly flat with my forearm. Okay? So, if you go down a little bit, look, you can see I'm lowering my wrist. These are for soft notes. Pianissimo, piano, mezzo piano, and then you get into louder notes. Now your wrist is rising above the level, okay, and now you're getting into louder and louder notes all the way up to fortissimo, maybe fortissimissimo, 3 Fs. So you can actually sag your wrist a little, but you don't want to be this sag. That's going to cause problems with your nerves here. When you overextend your wrists, you're going to have problems in here. You're going to have crunching of nerves down here in your wrists. So you don't want to do this. You can have a slight bend, so you're just relaxed. See, I'm just relaxed. Here's flat. Here's exactly flat. Now I'm having to actually hold my wrists, but I just want to relax a little bit. Not this much. I just want to relax a little bit. So these are for ghost notes. Piano, 1 inch off the head. Piano, pianissimo. Get the label off there. Piano. So that's mezzo piano. So I was moving away from the head as my dynamics increased. But this is very relaxed. So you can use your finger. I was just using my wrist. And that's for ghost notes. Ghost notes are also used in beats, 1 and 2. It's all those little notes. It creates phrasing. It creates the phrasing within a groove. So you want to look at the groove page in the section on phrasing. So we got that. Little ghost notes, but it's also used in grace notes. A grace note has no time value. In a flam, this has the time value, the principal note. So you can see the slight slant on my stick. And drags. Buzz rolls that are soft, double stroke rolls that are soft, anything that's soft, but those are drag, buzz drags, orchestral drags, where you press it in. So notice the slant. So that's the grace notes, okay? So That's why you have a slight slant. But your normal playing is going to be from the level down to this. I'm just going from the level down to the head. So that's like mezzo piano, mezzo forte maybe. But accents that get into the forte, here's the forte, so about here, and fortissimo. So that's forte, just regular forte playing. It's up to here. So I have little bungee cords on my mirrors. So that's going from the level up above the level. Okay, so now you're at the level, get that right, and you're above the level. So that's for louder playing. So you really want to be in the right place with your wrists. That's what stick control is about. Alrighty. Now what about, this thing is not working for me today. What about this drum? It should be level 2. Alright? You don't want it to be tilting upwards away from you. See, a lot of drummers do that. That really destroys the bouncing of the stick. If anything, you want it slightly tilt down away from you. You'll see that in Buddy Rich and a lot of great drummers, because actually, if you look at the way the stroke moves, okay, through the air, it'll bounce better if the head is a little bit further away because of the angle of the stick. But you know, that's a whole nother video. So you don't want it the other way. You want to tilt it away from you. Okay, so try that. And so we got some basic setup going on here. Is there anything else we need to do? We've got the arm position. Okay, relax your shoulders. Don't play out here like a chicken flying off. Again, you shouldn't see any air. There shouldn't be any tension. There's a video on how evil tension is. You need to surrender. You need to let go. You know, let go and let God, as the saying goes. You need to just let go. You got to be loose as a goose. There shouldn't be any tension in your body when you play. All right, so I think this will be pretty good. We'll go into some techniques with your hands and your wrists, but you want to stay at the letter A. Oh, because I was going to tell you, if you're in the letter H, railroad tracks, parallel, then you can see there's a real wrist problem, and the wrists don't really work that way. So you see people playing inside their legs like this, and they're having to use a lot of arms, right? Because the wrists don't work that way. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to put my finger right there, and you can see I can't lift my wrist but maybe 25-30 degrees. That's it. So then to get height, they're using their arms. This really slows you down, causes all kinds of tendonitis, tennis elbow, and shoulder problems because it's tension. So they're doing this all the time, and that's not good. So we want to use our wrists and only our arms to reach for something, a tom-tom, a crash, or whatever. But if we're on one drum for any length of time, our wrists should be taken over, and our fingers. That's another video, okay? So we don't want to be in railroad tracks. We want to be in the letter A, but not an extreme letter A. Okay, that's called the German grip. If your thumb is way down on the level, see the horizontal level, my thumb is way over on the horizontal level, and so now I have a really extreme letter A. I'll get up so you can see. That's a really extreme letter A. Very extreme letter A. It's really, so that's German style. It's for really no use of the fingers. You can't really use your fingers at all. But what happens is you tend to twist outwards instead of going up and down. You start to twist outwards, and this is not good for your wrists either. So you want to minimize motion. You got to go with the physics, go with the flow. I say go with the flow. So you want to go with the flow, go with the physics, and so stay in a kind of less extreme letter A. Now, what that does is creates the thumb now is at a 45-degree angle, not at a extreme level position, but now raised up at a 45-degree angle, not on the top. That's called French timpani. We'll talk about that. This is 45, so the thumb is at a 45-degree angle, and this allows me to keep my wrist straight, so my wrist works properly. It's straight with my forearm. See that? And it allows me to use my fingers. See, now I'm just using my fingers and my wrist. So there's the molar. So the more extreme molar. So now you can get wrist and fingers. So it's the best of both worlds. French timpani is the thumb on the top, straight with the arm. Okay, see that? It's hard to do this. It's like combing your hair in the mirror. So now that's totally straight, and it's playing with the it's waving your fingers. It's a great finger exercise. You'll see a lot of videos on that. Thumb is on the top, pointing straight down the stick. And the wrist is not moving at all. Just the fingers. All the fingers are waving. So I have a video called Finger Waving Exercise. Okay. So you don't want to play like this. You could, but you got your arms way out. You don't want to play like this, right? You know, who wants to do that? I'm all tensed up inside, all kinds of problems. But with the 45-degree angle, you can still use your fingers. All wrists, all wrists, all fingers. High. When you get high, you're going to have to get your wrist and fingers involved. Now I got my fingers and wrists. All fingers, wrists and fingers. Because when you get high, you know, you can do all wrists, but you can get even more height by extending your fingers. So that's a good exercise to get your fingers and your wrists moving together. Alright, you get the idea. You want to be able to use several crayons when you color your favorite picture. You want to have fingers moving at a 45-degree American grip. So that's what they call American grip. It's a slight A, not an extreme A for the German. Nobody really uses German. So I'm able to use my fingers and my wrists, or just my wrists, or just my fingers. And we'll go on to finger action for, see, I want to get into this. If I feel tension in my shoulders, then I know I'm going like this. All right. to be aware, watching yourself in the mirror is very valuable. I have a video about that. So that'll give you some ideas. So I'm getting maximum because of the height of my surface. I'm getting my best physics. I'm able to relax, slight, limp wrist, like Limp Bizkit with the band. I can just sag my wrist, stays in the letter A. I'm aiming at my little target here, so I got stick control. Tension is evil, so check that video out as well. Well, I hope all these things give you some ideas, and that you can start practicing the right thing instead of practicing in bad form. You know, all these things create memories, and it's hard to get rid of memories. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Please, I welcome your comments below. That's how we learn from one another. And definitely pass it on. It's one big family. We're going to find out it's one big family. I love playing. So love your comments, and on the website it's a complete blog website, so you can teach one another, and there's ways to share your blessing on the bottom of this video and also on the website. So God bless you, and hope to hear from you. All right, look forward to you. Okay, bye-bye.